part two of the life or the work life of a junior dev. And in this video, I just want to show and talk about what the challenges were as a junior dev, what projects I worked on, what the first projects were that I worked on, and what the challenges were that I had to face. So one of the first projects that I worked on was this right here that you can see here. It's a rather simple page. It's for a liquid against hair loss, right? And so when you start as a junior dev, one of the first few weeks, you usually just fix bugs, and that's also what I did. There were, for example, on this page right here, there were some typos, or some text wasn't aligned, or you would have to fix the font size and stuff like that. Basic simple stuff, but you learn so much by doing that. And you also learn stuff that you didn't even think about, because I could fix a bug, but I would have to set up my local development. I would have to set up my project locally, and I don't know if it was that specific project, but they used Docker in some of their projects at the agency that I worked at. So I got to learn a lot about Docker. Then also you will have to know a lot about Git flow. And when you're a self-taught developer, then you don't know anything about Git flow, because you don't really need it. You don't really need any Git flow because you're not working within a team, and you don't create any feature branches within your GitHub account. You don't merge anything. You don't set no pull requests or anything. None of that, really. So that was something that I didn't see coming. I knew what Git was, but for example, I didn't know anything about a source tree or something like that. All of those projects, all of those softwares that support Git flow, right? Later on, I started to use the terminal for Git, but at the beginning, I didn't know anything about that. So I just knew React, right? And those were the main challenges: getting to know what a feature branch was, what different environments were. We could deploy our projects to a testing environment, a staging environment, live environment, and getting to understand that the clients would only see the staging environment, and the developers of the agency would only see the development environment, and all of that stuff. I didn't even know anything about that, and I got to know that right there, just by fixing a simple typo. And that's why also you don't have to know everything before starting as a junior dev, but those are the challenges that you will have to work with. And also working in a Scrum environment, that was something I kind of knew the concept of Scrum, but I didn't know what it was like working in sprints and doing all of that stuff. Working as a team, in a development team. That was a very new and experience for me, and those were the main challenges that I had to face, and something that I wasn't aware of. I didn't know it was that important. It was maybe even more important than fixing those little typos right here. So yeah, so those were my my challenges, or my tasks. For example, also replacing those images in the background, and just simple stuff like that. Very, very simple stuff. Creating some animations, or just really, really basic stuff. All of that was based on React. So that was another project that I worked on. That was on a online shop, and that was quite interesting as well because that was the first time that I professionally worked with a CMS. You know, when you start to learn about web development and start to read the comments online, and for some web developers, they say that you shouldn't use CMS because it's not really, you know, if you're a real programmer, you don't use a CMS, you don't use WordPress or Drupal, all of that is shit. You will have to you will have to create it all from scratch, otherwise, you're no developer. Well, that proved me wrong right here because everything is working within CMS in the background because it just makes stuff easier. It solves problems that you don't have to solve from scratch again. You know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So that's why you work with CMS, and it was very interesting to see how we implemented our React pages into this CMS right here to make it actually look like that. And also, I got to learn so much stuff here just by, you know, for example, there was a bug that this button right here, it wouldn't have the right animation. You know, it didn't animate quite right. So I had to fix that. Now, I would first have to get to know how would I get this project locally, how could I set up this site locally, and then I would have to push to AWS. Then they had a bucket there, an AWS bucket, which you know, redirected to that CMS and all of that stuff. I learned so much. Again, I learned so much. I knew what AWS was, but I didn't know how it really worked. And all of that just by, you know, fixing those small little things. I really didn't do that much. It wasn't, you know, it was nothing big. It was mainly, it was, you know, when you're a junior developer, you're just there to fix some bugs and make some minor features, and that's really all you have to do in the first few months, right? Another project that I worked on was this project right here. It's a configurator for your pen, so you can choose a pen and then configure it and design your own pen, right? And that was very fun for me as well because there were some 3D renderings and you know, but mainly I also had to just fix some bugs, maybe do some add some colors right here. You know, for example, there was a pen who could only draw black lines, and then I would have to add those blue lines right here. And yeah, so that project was built with React and also in the backend with Laravel. And that was also the first time that I got in contact with Laravel. And that really amazed me. And then I started to learn Laravel 2 years ago as a front-end developer as well, because yeah, I just wanted to know what was going on in the backend. And yeah, so that's how I started Laravel. But in the end, you know, those were the projects. I didn't do that animation, and I didn't do any of those animations. Unfortunately, I couldn't do that back then. But yeah, it was mainly being a junior front end developer is just fixing bugs, major bugs, minor bugs, and implementing, you know, some minor features, some stuff that you're probably capable of doing. So and all of that other stuff that you have to work with, the most important stuff, working in a team, you know, working in a Scrum environment, working with Git. You should really be comfortable with Git. You will have to solve a lot of merge conflicts. solving merge conflicts in the beginning that really that stressed me out so much because I didn't know how to do it. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. So my advice, if you want to if you want to start out as a junior developer, start learning Git. Really, really important, at least as important as learning React, because the more you know about Git and Git flow and all of that stuff, the better and the more comfortable you will be, because there will be a lot of issues with Git. Maybe not even GitHub, but also GitLab. In the companies that I worked with, we only worked with GitLab, but you know, just know how to work with Git and what version control is. And that is really, really important, because every modern agency or any modern development company will work with Git. And I might also make some tutorials about Git, and just the basics, what you will have to know. And yeah, that was pretty much it. I just wanted to give some insights on being a junior developer. I will be mid-level, a mid-level developer in October. So I've been a junior dev for the last 2 years now, and it was quite fun. I'm still loving my job. I still love what I do, and I'm looking forward to the next years of development. And I hope you do too. If you're in the process of becoming a developer and you're also self-taught, then just keep on going. It will be it everything will work, and all of your knowledge, once you're done 4 to 5 projects, you will get comfortable with it. And the more comfortable you will be, the more self-esteem you will have, and the better the things you work with will be, right? So yeah, so those were my insights. And if you have any questions, then type them in the comments below. And also, maybe you can write me what you want to see next, right? And I wish you all the best. See you next time. Bye bye.